23, right? I don't know about the rest. Okay, so this is our schedule. Um, before I talk about like the pictures, and I would like to review from the beginning until now. That the time that we could recall what we discussed uh, over maybe some sessions of the last year. So the first one, the first chapter, we discuss what is a brand, why the brand is important, and what the difference between a brand and a product, and what would be the advantages of a strong brand, and also the branding strategy. And the last question for the reverse chapter, the first chapter is everything be brand? I'm sorry, can everything be branded? Okay, we start from very beginnings, maybe concept first. So, what is a brand? Anyone can help us to recall to remember this. Let's see. Uh, Trần Ngọc Vân Anh, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Yeah. Okay, can you?
I think a brand is uh it's like um it's a combination of many different aspects. It's like
In combination have a brand to differentiate from others in the same field. So last time we were exposure to the slide that we display many brands over there, right? And then when we look at this and we know what is the Apple, what is the Samsung, what is the McDonald, and you have some maybe association in our mind towards them, and we distinguish the differentiation among them. So this is like a brand. However, we also discover maybe a downside of this definition, because how a name become a brand? What happen if the companies they try to make the efforts to communicate like their product, their brand to the customers? Yeah, they try to maybe educate the customer, but consumer they don't know what it is, they don't recognize, and they don't remember this. So if so, that's if we say like the second part that we would like to contribute to this definition is that like our brands could be recognized and remembered by the customers. Without the customers, the name is just a name, a label is just a label. The name become a brand because consumer they know this, they recognize this, and they differentiate it from the competitors, something like this. So this is like the first one that we expect you to remember this concept, not only just for discrimination, but also should be like acceptance, remember, recalled by the end user, by the customer. So this is the first one for the chapter one. And the second session for the chapter one, we also discuss what's the difference between a product and a brand. And before that, we already discussed 5 levels of a product. And then actually, what are the 5 levels of the product? based on like mainly based on like functionality, the performance of the product and the services. However, a brand is more than this, because when we talk about a brand, it's more concerned about the recognition, about awareness, about the uniqueness, and the brands is more linked to maybe emotion, into maybe hedonic. So that's the brand, they contribute the value to the product is very much. That could explain why maybe the same products like the one smartphone, but smartphone from Oppo is very cheap compared to smartphone come from the Apple, something like this. The differentiation is it come from like the intangible parts of a product. So this we say the brand. Symbolism might be expression, might be more hedonic, determined by the brand. Or in overall, we say a brand including the functionality, the benefits and emotion from the customers. The brand have to express what it is, who they are, or something like that. So this is like the second thing that we need to remember. And the question number 3 for this one, why a brand is important for the customers and for the company as well. Sorry, I don't know what happened today. So uh, we already know why like the brand is important for the customers. When we discuss this with consumer, usually they will compare the risk and the benefits toward like a brand or for their consumption. And a brand could signal like the quality, the reliability, the the safety for consumption. And the brand can also help the customers to identify who they are. So that's the one reason they say consumer, they are what they eat, what they wear, where they live, yeah, what they consume or something. So that's it. They use like consumption, the brand to express who they are. Someone who ride a BMW may be perceived differently from someone who just ride the bicycle or the cheap cars or something like this. Very much differentiation. Someone who use like a cheap air fly like VJet might be perceived differently from someone who often use like JM Rack or maybe other leading air flight might be around the world or something like this. Because the consumer they use like the cheap air flight, they just care about the functionality. They just care about like their monetary values. They want you and they pay less expensive as possible or as cheap as possible. But for the someone who use the maybe the famous and the luxury air flight, they not only for the transportation, but they also want to enjoy maybe the utilities from the air flight. They also show to other that they are good at this or something like this. So this is the expression. And why the brand is important for a company? Of course, a lot of benefits. Because we said the first one based on like the brand value, and we have discussed about like the brand value of the brands around the world in 2022, something like this. And you see that like the brand value is very high for Apple, Amazon, Coca-Cola, something. And the brands also contribute to the competitive advantage. How the better the brand, the more customers they would have, the better income they would have, the better profit they would have, something like this. So this is like uh, the brand also the competitive tool for the company to obtain the customers, to retain the customers, and also to develop the customer. So we can look at like the importance of the brand from the company's perspective in that way simply. And another question is, can everything be branded? We already answered yes, right? From the things to the human being, yeah. From like the tangible to intangibles, from the activities, right, to non-activities, from the regions to maybe the ocean, even though to the sky can be branded, can be branded. People can be branded, event can be branded, education can be branded. So I think everything can be branded, can be branded. So this is like the first chapter we discussed. Of course, the first chapter also mentioned something very big. This is like strategic branding plan, and that one we will uh, pick up. We will discuss this over over the course that we are having that. And the chapter two. What's in the chapter two? The chapter two answer for the question. What is what is the maybe brand management and how to build a brand. So the chapter to answer this and provide like maybe very fundamentals and the cause of like strategic marketing management. Branding actually this is the process that the company they try to build the brand equity, and the brand equities was discussed as the association between including not between including brand awareness and brand image, or in a simple way we say the brand equities is the brand knowledge or what consumer they know about the brand, what consumer they remember about the brand. So what consumer they know about the brand concerning about brand awareness. Brand awareness means the association that consumer they could recognize, they could remember the brand among the competitors. And this is like the process the consumer they put a brand or a product into consideration sets. And it could be discussed to be like the point of priorities. Yeah, uh, to determine what it is, right? And what consumer they remember, what consumer they know about the brand. So they will link to some association when they talk about a brand or product. They have some association to link about this. For example, what is in your mind when you talk about like the Windham landmark 81 or something like that? So though association will determine like the brand image. So in another way, the brand image is the association what consumer they associate a brand in their mind. In their mind, it could be the attributes, it could be like the benefits, it could be like the features and also non-features. It also like emotional benefits too. For example, what do you in your mind about the landmark Windhouse? You see, it could be like because the the top be the highest building in Vietnam, the first one. All right. And the second, maybe you some association from your mind when you talk about the landmark 81. So this is the brand image in the mind of the customer. So what is the relationship between the brand awareness and the brand image or a brand association? When awareness is sufficient enough, then the brand image will comes out. It means that uh, like consumer behavior we already discussed. Actually, the branding actually this is the process that consumer they perceive the information from the brand based on like the three steps. Do you remember the three steps? The stimulus, attention, right, and interpretation. And consumer they would maybe interpret what they perceive from the exposure from the brand, and they keep in their long-term memory. Short-term memory could be fine, but this is the working memories. But what consumer they remember over the situation when they discuss about maybe the similar maybe topic, and then in their mind will comes up the information about one brand like this. So that's it, like consumer they have to keep it into their long-term memory, and so keep it in long-term memory become the knowledge. So that's it, see very much link between the consumer behavior and the branding naturally. So that's it, like when awareness is sufficient, and then the brand image will comes out. So that we already discussed about the association. And then how consumer they uh, perceive or they know about our brand and where. So does it mean we concern about like the positioning of a brand? So for ourselves, we also the company they also try to make the efforts to position their brand, and they expect that consumer they perceive the same. And what is like the process for the positioning? So the chapter 2 also tell us the insight how to deal with this, how to deal with this. So how to do the positioning? First, we have to put the brand into the competition, maybe environment, or we say like the reference from last time. To in another way, we say we have to discuss the brand into like the competition environment, and we would know what would be the segmentation of the market, what would be like the customers, and we have to determine what kind of like uh, the values that we offer to the customer based on two things, based on like the concept of the brand equity, point of parity, POP, and points of like uh, differentiation or POD. Why we you have to do the BOP, not only just the POD. The POD is concerning like consideration the what consumer they are aware about the brand, that the same the similar to the ones from the competitors. Yeah, to make that they are relevant. That so the POP come from awareness. And however, the consumer they just awareness just have the consumers to put the brand into consideration sets only. Consumer they make decision to buy a product or the services based on like something uniqueness, something different from the one from the competitors. So this is we say like from actual from the value from the uniqueness, the benefits that other brands may not offer. So this is the point of differentiation, and we position ourselves based on the differentiation, not the POD. But to identify the POD, we have to know what would be the POP first, right? So how can we position ourselves? A lot, maybe based on like functionalities, yeah, maybe based on like the customer segmentation, maybe like some more hedonic. So many things we could uh, do the positioning. So from this last, so I expect that you would not use like the simple way for the positioning that I have seen. Maybe majority of the students when they present the positioning, they always talk about the quality and the price. Not only this, not only this. We, for example, what would be like the positioning of the could be like innovative. Of course, very expensive. This is luxury. This is high quality something. And then at least you can see that at least there are six association linked to the Apple. And why we just use only the price and the quality for the positioning? So this is not sufficient. And then the insightful into this, why we have to use like association, that we could make like the marketing campaign might be innovative. Maybe one time we focus on the price and the quality, yes. Another campaign we focus on like innovation. Another maybe campaign we focus on like the the uniqueness. Another maybe another campaign we focus on like appearance, something like this. Why not? So that's it. Like we can propose the values. We can propose like the positioning from different aspect of association that uh, that willing to a product or a service. And another question is, what is the base for us to do the positioning? So that's it. We have to go around the Ram mantra, the mantra. Uh, this is like there's something insightful for us because we don't position the brand maybe just by our institution, or by our just maybe common sense or the feeling. So, what is the brand mantra? Ha don't weak ha. What is the brand mantra?
Teacher, can you hear me?
Yeah.
I think the brand mantra is the short word to express the brand position, like to capture and convey the important aspect of their positioning to have the core brand association, and they transfer the brand association to their customer.
Okay, the core brand association. Can you be specific? Can you be more specific? The core association, what are they? Yeah, technically we can say the mantra is the short statement about the brand concerning the positioning, and the positioning here concerning like the core values of a brand. Or we can say like the brand mantra, the core value first, the action of the brand,
the spirit of the brand, or we say the direction of a brand. That this is like the big pictures that we position just around this. For example, like many years ago, the time I worked with LG Electronics, so they position themselves to be the gladfully maybe happiness, or the position themselves to be digitally yours or something like this. So this is like the focus, the focus. So it means that we can do positioning based on like three maybe guidelines, three things from the Brahm mantra, right? The Brahm mantra, this is like inclusion of the three maybe components. So what are the three components of the Brahm mantra? The first one, very important, yes, based on the performance, like the functionality, and the functionality could be including like the quality, could including like innovation, could including maybe like some other, and this we can position the brand based on emotion, right? Emotional, something else. So that's it. We remember like we talk about Nike. They talk about authentic, athlete, performer, or something like this. So uh, so that's it. Like we may not position ourselves randomly. We have the cause, the basis that come from the Brahm mantra. And what's the difference between the Brahm mantra and the slogan, and also the top line as well? Can anyone help us distinguish this? When the Brahm mantra and slogan same, and when they are different? Would Minh Khang, yes. Yeah, actually, there are some approaches that we could distinguish or in the top line as well. The first one, we talk about the timeline. The Brahm mantra, because this is the core, this is the spirit, this is the essence of the business, the core value. So it's a long-term oriented, determine the direction for the brand, for the company to follow, for operation, for the branding, and for the marketing activities. But uh, the slogan, this is like to express the specific objectives of the brand mantra or from the company given specific situations. The slogan can change over time, but the brand mantra, to change the brand mantra is mean that you change like the business philosophy. So this is a big one. So why the brand mantra for the slogan could be changed over time, like I have explained to you. Uh, in the 2000s, yeah, 2000s. At that time, like the world, they 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 were encounter with the invention of the internet, the digital. So at that time, the LG, they are the innovator, the first adopter of the digital technology. So at that time they they their slogan to be digitally yours. The concern that they are innovator, they are the one who offer the digital product leader at that time in the world. So, but uh, the nature of for or the philosophy of LGE, they try to focus on the life of the people, of the human being, something very bigger. And after more than 10 years, maybe dominate like the digital worlds of like home appliance. So now they are no longer, but they try to produce maybe like the products for the human being for the better life. So that's it. They come back to life is good. Life is good, more close to the Ram mantra. And slogan digitally yours specifically for a period of the time that the marketing and the branding they try to focus on. And the top line, even though shorter, the top line we can distinguish is to be like used for uh, maybe the campaign specifically. Yeah, the campaign. We can change the top line. Might be very. Uh, we don't say like we change, but we make the top line based on like the campaign that we launch to the customer. So uh, mantra is the long-term oriented direction of the company. Slogan is like the marketing objectives based on specific time of the time, and top line specific might be statements or expression that the brand they want to come to communicate with the customer based on specific campaign. So is it clear, right? Last time we didn't discuss the top line, but I think from my observation, people maybe now often they try to maybe interpret the slogan and the top line together, but we have to distinguish the level, yeah, the natures. They are not the same. They are not the same. The top line is something very small. The slogan still bigger, and the biggest one is the mantra. The mantra. So this is like we conclude like the chapter 2 to build a brand. This is to build brand equity or to build the brand knowledge come from awareness and or association. Yeah, it's something like this. And how to position out the brand and link to the brand mantra, link to the story of the POP and POD. So this is like the chapter 2. And the chapter 3, yeah, the chapter 3. The chapter 3, we focus more in detail how to build a strong brand, right? And then we already discussed 4 steps, 4 objectives, and 6 blocks. 6 blocks to build a brand, to build a strong brand. From the beginning till maybe the highest level means the profitable relationship between the brand and customers. So there are some questions for us to review. What are the 4 steps to build a strong brand? And what are and why are the 6 brand building blocks? And how can you apply this into the brand activities? Anyone remember what are the 4 steps in response to the 4 objectives of the branding development? Maybe I invite some students to talk about this. My questions or the chapter 3, actually everything come from here. The pyramid that you may see from the slide. So what are the 4 stages or 4 steps of the brand development? The first the first step we have to identify who we are. Maybe like stage, we have to answer for the questions. What would be like brand awareness in terms of the depth and the breadth? So that's the the stage one and the objective one determine the first block for build the brand. So what will be the first step? The first step today we will discuss the first step two. This means that we have to identify who we are first from designing, from very fundamental designing like the brand elements, the name, the logo, the slogan, the website, the jingle, the packet, etc. To identify to the way that we have to design the elements, the way that we can maybe communicate with the customers, that they that help us to that help the customer to receive us differently from the competitors. Look like the LG, how LG is different from the Samsung, from the design, the logo, from the name, different from maybe Toshiba or Panasonic, or different from the Wingham or something like this. So this is like the first step. And the second, I would like you to take note because what Kevin Keller mentioned here not sufficient, not sufficient. They just mentioned like the category identification, the niche defined, not sufficient. So the first we have to design, right? And then the second, we have to identify who are the customers, who are the customers, and what would be like the value that we would offer to them to certify the needs and the desire from the customers. Yes. So why we have to identify first? Because the customers is the reason for the company to enter, right? And also the customer are the only factor that determine whether the company should maybe should exist or should collapse. Yeah, the company cannot work without the customer. So the customer seem to be like very important for the first stage that Kevin Keller they didn't mention clearly the insightful about that one. You have to identify. And what are the information from the customer that we need to know? We have to identify maybe what do they would need. Yeah. It's relevant to what kind of values that we should offer to the customers. Whether the consumer they need like maybe the common or the simple product, or they want to have maybe high-end product. Whether the consumer they care about like the price, or they care about maybe like the hygienic function. Whether the consumer they concerned about maybe more functional or more hygienic, or both together. So we have to identify what would be the needs that need to be certified by our value that we offer to the customer. So this is like the important second items for the first block. And the first one, based on what we expect to maybe promote to certify the needs and the desires consumer, we have to make it specific into the product category. Look like our university, they have many products. That is, they have ISB, they have maybe School of Business and Marketing, they have the School of Management, something like this. And how about our ISB? what would be the depth and maybe like the breadth of the product categories. We could say that ASP would have four maybe majors. Could be the first one, the marketing. Sorry, first, we offer to three different levels: the BB bus, the bachelor degree, the master degree, and the BSD, and the BSD. And how we are different from other schools under the umbrella of UEH. We are 100% English program. Yeah, 100%. And what would be like maybe the product line? We say the BB Plus, the MBA, or BSD. This is like the category, right? We have the three categories for the education at the US at the ISP. And how about the product lines? For example, under the category of the BB Plus, we have four majors or four disciplines. The first one, the marketing. The second one, the operation. The third one, finance. So this is like we say, four product lines under the BB Bus talent. So, so this is like the first step. The first step that you have to add something more, not only this. And why we offer scrap product? Because we put everything into the competition maybe environment, and then we have to identify this. This is like the way, the first step, who we are. And today we discuss the very beginning, the fundamental one. How can we design the run elements? So this is the first one today. And the second, to answer for the questions, what are you? Mean, what is our brand? Or we say how meaningful the brand is. When you to answer for how meaningful the brand is, we have to focus on like the performance. Yeah, the performance, the value that we could offer to the customers. And this the objective for this stage that we have to determine what we are similar to the competitors and what we are different from the competitors. That you see on the right hand side, the stage two, they say point of parity and differentiations, right? So POP and POD here. And why we are meaningful to the customers based on the first one, the performance of the product and the services, the functionality. It could be the price, it could be the quality, it could be the design, it could be some maybe other attributes, other values that we offer to the customer. How consumer they perceive us to be competent to deliver what we promise to the customer. It confirm the performance, Experts in the field look like Apple, the experts in the smartphone. Samsung is experts in the smartphone or home appliances, something like this. The second, we try to also touch like the feeling, the emotion. That's if we use maybe many factors that we mentioned here. So this is like the second step, and the third step actually concerning about how consumer they perceive and they respond to our marketing and branding exposure. That's like the step two, the answer. What about you? What about you? How the consumer they respond to our branding and the marketing activities, activities, and objective here. Also, we rely on the positive and the negative response from the customers, reaction from the customer, and how consumer they respond to our brand. Also come from two things: performance. They they have assessment on our performance based on something we say the quality, the reliability, the superiority, the consideration or something like this based on the functionalities. Or the step four, the relationship. To build the relationship. What about you? What about the brand and the customers? I mean, be concerned about the relationship. This is the outcome of the marketing and the branding activities from the consumer, the perception they feel and they react. So this is the relationship. And here they mention like at least four levels, of like the relationship. So the first one might be about like engagement. When consumer they are interested in the brand, they will spend their time with the brand for information, maybe for some other activity, yeah, to get the brand knowledge or something like this. And then they may maybe with the brand community to share the positive word of mouth, to maybe defend the brand from maybe attack for someone that they maybe convey the negative information towards the brand or something. And the the level three for that one may they have emotional attachment. Not only emotional attachment, but also maybe the cognitive attachment too. They link themselves to the brand. That they spend more time for the brand, like the engagement. And the third for this level, they say the loyalty. The loyalty is supposed to be like the top level because this is the outcome of maybe good experience, good emotions, good feeling, good feeling. From the satisfaction, the use of the brand, and then consumer they become loyal to the brand. So the top stage of the branding is to build like the customer brand relationship. And if you look at the pyramid here, you can see that six blocks, right? And then we can divide the pyramid into two that I mentioned on the right hand side. This one on the left hand side. This is rational, and the right hand side, this is the emotional. When we talk about the rational, we talk about like the performance. When we talk about the emotion, we talk about the feelings from the customers. So it's meant that the natures for building a brand, we have two approaches, basically. Three approaches, basically. Whether we focus on the rational performance itself, whether we focus on emotional, the feeling itself from the customer, and or in combination together, combination together. I believe that you took consumer behavior with me, and I would like to make it clear like this: what would be the rational? What would be the emotional? Maybe we have watched some TVC, and you also maybe review some TVC too. And then you look at it for some TVC, they focus on the functional. Yeah, like using this product, you may look younger or some etc. It's like clean your clothes, something is there. And some other, they just focus on the feeling. They use the celerity, they use the beautiful girl, they use the beautiful, now the handsome guys, and they read the story and they made it very attractive. Attractive. They didn't mention maybe the person, but because you like the people from the video clip, you like them in the reality, the celebrity, they are your idol, and that's it. Like you might have the good feeling towards the advertising about the brand. So something like this combined together. One, they talk about the functionality, and another one, they also use like the might be the celebrity or someone else to might be trigger like good emotion from the audience, from the audience. And something more, when we have to use like the rational approach, when we use like emotional approach, we use the rational approach when we have something uniqueness about the functionality we'd like to tell, or we just enter the market and then we would like to tell the customer how good we are come from the functionality. After consumer they know very well about the brand, about the product, about the functionality, we more focus on the emotional maybe approach. Look like you see, we from the CB we also discuss about the Coca-Cola. For many years, the Coca-Cola they just use like the concept to share happiness. And the video, the TVC or the campaign, they also talk about. They just create the story. Coca-Cola have to maybe link the people together. People they happy with the name on the can. They feel happy when they see the name on the can. The people they receive like the even though Coca-Cola give, they will happy with their name on the can too. Some they try to relate the story to share the feeling. Do they need to talk about what is the Coca-Cola? No. Even though for the Honda, for many years, they didn't talk about the functionality of the product. They use the story. Kiếm tiền cho mẹ, for example, one campaign. They use the one KOL, maybe I forgot his name. Yes, and to promote like the story, and then is it linked to the motorcycle? Actually, just use the motorcycle to ride, but the story did never tell about the functionality of the Honda. But from the story, which they love the story, they love the Honda, and they buy the product and the service, something like this. Or from also around 10 years, Hùng Võ told us 10 years, the British Hunter, they also use the same concept, đi để trở về. Yeah, the new year, đi để trở về. Yeah, they say the home is the place to be back for the New Year's. Yeah, for the New Year's. They don't say for reunion. Yes, because separate and reunion, they didn't mention that. They just highlight the theme. Homes is the place to be back. That's all. And how the outcome when they are back, they don't concern. They just create the story like this. They make the differentiation from other campaigns that you see from the new year. Many campaigns that something like this, but the British Hunter they use the way very different, and almost around a decade that they use this concept. They try to focus on emotion. So it means that like by talking about emotional feeling, emotional maybe branding, I would like to say the emotional branding in the marketing is trendy. The trendy. Where they use the COL, they try to have the good emotion from the KOL and then towards the product and the service, something like this. So you have to distinguish. You have to understand the insight into when we use rational approach, when we use emotional approach, And when we need to combine two approaches into the branding activities. Okay. And any questions so far? Any questions so far? And the last time we also distinguished what is the difference between the brand equity and the customer equity. Yeah, I expect that you have to clear distinction about this, that we make sure that our know corrected. Okay, so that's the all from the first chapter until today. Any questions? Any questions? I think so enough for us to maybe to wake up your mind after the new year with the full of food and lucky money and happiness. And now we have to be back to school. School for being back and the real situation after you are back to the school determined by yourself. This is a branding story you would make by yourself. Okay, any questions? Now we still have only 22, right? Okay. Any questions? If you have no question, I would like to talk to the number one here, the precious. I shared it sometimes already. You know, for the new year, for the new year, before the new year, and last Sunday, two groups of my students, they submitted their research to the UAH 500 Young Researchers competition. We work hard, just less than 2 months. And we, not only for the competition, we have submitted it to the AMA, you know, American Marketing Association conference, with a hope that our paper, our research could be presented in this conference, the biggest marketing conference in the world, in the field as well. AMA, very famous. Today, I would like to tell if, even though we have the guideline for the assignment 3, mean the strategic branding management. However, if any group you want to do the research, you would tell. We can work together the topic concerning about the branding. The first two groups that we submit to the competition, we focus on the brand sustainability. Yes. So you can consider this if you want to do so. I think could be very beneficial for the student to do the research, because the last semester, the first time we applied like the approach for the student to be graduation with economic research, not only the BSO. This is the first version. It means that you can develop it into the thesis for your graduation. And if your paper published into the journal, your profile should be excellent if you continue to study the MBA or even the BSD. You know, like one of the reasons that I decided to be back to Vietnam for has been not others because Dr. Wong, we discussed maybe several months online, and he expected me to be back to maybe speed up like the previous in the marketing team. And we expect that to continue publish a series of the paper in the branding. Actually, this is my style for the pieces. For one topic, I try to develop like several papers roll around the topic. So it means that for one pieces, like I talked to two group of the students that they have submitted to the UAS 500. 5 students, they can use this topic, and we develop the different models and effective for the student to apply this. So again, if any group you want to do the research, we have to discuss first. We have to speed up, otherwise you don't have much time to do so. And I think the four students or 3 students in your group should be excellent for the research, because you can divide the job maybe relatively equally. Okay, any concern about this? So if no concern, and go to the presentations. The group 3, are you ready to present the chapter 4, choosing brand elements to build brand equity? During the time your presentation, maybe I will borrow you some time, because I would like to share some information about the brand elements from some other brands. Look like L3. For example, I have a list here. Let's see, where is it? Yeah, I have a list of maybe here. For example, Heineken, LG, some other brands like World Bank, Noble Bills, or Apple. Yes, I would like to share what like the brand elements, brand identity that the real business they would share. Okay, the loop 3. I will hand over the screen to you guys. I will stop do presenting.
Okay, so group 3 will start presenting now.
Yeah, you can start.
Can you see my screen?
Yeah, I see it.
Yes. So, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Dr. Chung and fellow classmates. We are group 3, and today we are very happy and delighted to present to you about the topic of choosing brand elements to build brand equity. Before we jump into any information and knowledge, I would like to invite all of you to participate with us in a very small, fun warm-up game. So you can join via this link on Mentimeter. So please prepare your phone and you will play this game on the phone. You can scan the code here to access to the game or just type in Mentimeter and enter this code. If you are unable to join, please notify us. So I will give you about 4 minutes to access to the game. So a little surprise for you. After playing the game, top 3 will receive free drinks from us. So you guys should give all your best and try to win. This is very easy. The only thing you have to bear in mind is to be fast and to think fast. The question is very, very easy.
You know, yesterday, one group of the student also used the game and the prize. This is like the lucky money they transfer to the bank account.
Oh, that's a good idea.
Yeah, so
If you prefer lucky money over free drinks, we can do that too.
no, not the student, not me. Yes.
Yeah, I'm talking about the students.
Mm.
Top 3 will get free drinks. You can still access by entering this code over here. Is there anybody who hasn't access to the game yet? Okay, so we'll wait for another minute for everyone to get in. After that, we'll start the game. Okay, so we are please remind that the question is very easy. You just need to think and act fast. Okay, so let's start. Yes, so you guys have all guessed it correctly. It's Nike. Now moving on to the next question. So the correct answer is Starbucks. Congratulations to anyone who guessed correctly. And now we move on to the third question. Yay, so it's Heidi Lau. Congratulations to let's answer correctly. And let's move on to the fourth question. This is very, very easy. Yeah, so this is the logo of our beloved school, ISB. Okay, so now moving on to the last question.